Hello again and welcome to my channel. Today's tutorial is for the bobble baby cardigan. I'm going to do this in two parts this time. I've had quite a few enquiries about the yoke, so what I'm going to do is the whole of the yoke as the first video, and then I'll carry on and do the rest of the cardigan. It's the same yoke that I've used on previous baby cardigans that you'll find on this channel. The only difference with this cardigan is the buttonhole and the button band are slightly different. So I'm going to start with a double knit yarn. I'm using a 5mm hook and we're going to work a chain of 49. If you would rather do the chainless double as the starting row, as your foundation row, there is a tutorial on that. And if you do that, if you use the chainless foundation, you would need to have a chain of 47. So we'll start, as always, with a slip knot onto the hook, and I'm going to leave a long tail because I'll use that for the to sew the button on. So we just slip knot onto the hook and then we're going to chain 49. And if you want to pause the video and do your 49, and I'll meet you when we've got there. So when we've got the chain of 49, we're going to now work doubles along the chain. So we're going to do the first double into the fourth chain from the hook, which is this one here. So yarn over into the chain, pick up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and then we're going to work all the way along that chain, working a double into each of the chains. Obviously, if you've done the chainless foundation row, you'll already have your 47 doubles, but just make sure that when you get to the end, you've got 47 doubles. So I'll let you again pause the video at this point and work the rest of your doubles across the row, and I'll meet you when we get to the end. Just got to 46 there. The very last double goes into that last chain. So the 47 stitches that we've got here include the chains here at the end where we worked into the fourth chain from the hook. So we've got 3 chains there that count as the first stitch. That could have been where some people have got a little bit confused. So there we've got the starting row for our yoke. The next row is going to be an increase row, so we increase alternate rows. So on this one, we're going to flip over and we're going to start with a 3 chain, and that's going to count as the first double on this second row. We're now going to double into the first stitch, which is this one here. So we've now done in effect 2 stitches. We've got the 3 chain that counted excuse me, as the first stitch, and then we've got the second one there. So into the next stitch we're going to work 2 doubles. So there's the first one, and then into that same stitch we're going to work a second double, so that we've got 4. We now do 1 double in each of the next 3 stitches. So we've got 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to do 2 stitches into the next stitch. So we've got 1 double and a second double. So we're going to do this again all the way along this row. We're going to work a double into each of the next 3 stitches, and then we work 2 doubles into the next one, a double into each of the next 3, and then again 2 doubles into the same stitch. And again 2 into that next one. So you can see that the yoke is starting to curve around with the increases that we're doing. So 1 double into each of the next 3, and then 2 doubles into the next one. One in each of the next 3, and 2 into the next one. So again, if you want to pause the video and work all the way along this row, it's exactly the same pattern repeat of 3 doubles, 1 in each stitch, and then 2 into the next one. I'm coming up to the last stitch where we've got 2 in the same stitch, and we're going to work the 3 doubles. That brings us to the last stitch of the row, which was the 3 chain from the starting row that we did. We're going to do a final double into the top of that 3 chain. So there we've done row 1 and row 2. Row 3 is a really simple row. We just start with the 3 chain, and we're going to work 1 double into every stitch. So again, we've got 58 stitches after we've done this second row with the increase. We will have 58 stitches again, because we're just going to work 1 stitch into each stitch all the way along the row. So it's a nice straightforward row without an increase. We're only doing the increase on alternate rows. So again, rather than just watching me working doubles into each stitch, if you want to pause the video again and work 1 double into each stitch all the way along, and I'll meet you at the end of this row. I'll just work my last few stitches on this row. Again, if you want to just do a quick stitch count to just make sure that you've got the 58 stitches at the end of row 3. And don't forget that the very last stitch goes into the last chain of the 3 chain that formed that first stitch. So we just do a double into the top of that chain. So we've now got a definite curve to the yoke here. So row 4 is the next increase row. So again, we're going to end up after this row with 77 stitches. So for this next row, we're going to chain 3, which is going to count as the first stitch, as always. We're going to double into the next stitch along, and then like before, we're going to work 2 doubles. I've got a hair there, I don't want to crochet it into the work. We're going to work 2 doubles into that next stitch. Now on the last increase row, we did 3 stitches in between the increases. On this row, we're only going to work 2. So we'll work a double into each of the next 2 stitches, and then we work 2 doubles into the next one, and then that's the same pattern repeat. And we've got a knot in there all the way along, so we've got, just work over the ends of that knot there. We've got the 2 doubles, and then we'll work 2 doubles into that next stitch. And again, a double and a double, and then 2 doubles into the same one. So again, you can either crochet along the row with me, or you can pause the video and work your increases along. So double, double, and then 2 in 1 on the 3rd stitch there. Double, double, and then the 2 into 1. So I'll let you carry on there working this next increase row, and I'll meet you when we get to the end. At the end of this row, as I say, we'll have 77 stitches. So once you've reached the end of row 4, row 5 is going to be exactly the same as row 3, and that's just where we're going to work 1 double into each of the stitches all the way along. So again, we'll start with 3 chain, and then just work 1 double into each stitch all the way along. You can see now that the yoke has almost come round to meet. So again, rather than just watching me work a row of doubles, if you want to pause the video at this point and work your doubles along, and I'll see you when we get to the end. Don't forget to do the last stitch into the top of the 3 chain that formed the starting stitch on that row. So I'll meet you when we get to the end. So again, that wasn't an increase row, so we should still have 77, I believe it's, yeah, 77 stitches again on this row. So the next row is the last row of the yoke, and it's the last increase row as well. And we're going to work exactly the same as we did on the previous increase row. We're going to start, as always, with the 3 chain. And that's going to count as the first stitch. and then we're going to work a double into the next stitch, and then we work the 2 doubles into that next one, which is the 3rd stitch along. So exactly the same as we did on row 4, we're going to work a double into each of the next 2 stitches, and then we work 2 doubles into the next one. So it's a pattern row of 3 working over the next 3 stitches. We've got a double, and then we've got the 2 doubles into the same stitch. So when you get to the end of this row, you'll have 102 stitches, and each of the baby cardigans that I've got on the channel have all got exactly the same yoke. It's just the skirt and the sleeves that work out differently. So this yoke will be the basis of any cardigan, really. Another question that I've been asked as well is about, oops, I've done that wrong, needed 2 in that one, about different sizes of the cardigans. These cardigans are designed to fit what we would call an average newborn, but by just changing the yarn and the hook, you can actually make one that's a bigger size. And before I finish this video, I'll actually show you 2 cardigans from the Pretty Waves cardigan that we've got a tutorial for. And I've made one in a double knit, and then I've made the other one in an Aran, which is sometimes called a worsted yarn. And I will show you those before we finish the video. So again, if you want to carry on and work to the end of this row, 2 doubles and then 2 doubles into the next stitch, and at the end of the row we'll have 102 stitches. So I've just worked the last stitch into the top of the chain 3, and that, when it's folded over, makes the start of the cardigan. So we've completed the yoke. I'll carry on dividing for the 2 fronts, the back and the sleeves, on the next video, but as promised I will just show you the Pretty Waves cardigan. And this is the cardigan worked in a double knit yarn. Just see if I can get more of the cardigan into the frame there. So this is how big the Pretty Waves came out, worked in double knit yarn. And then I've just completed the same cardigan in an Aran weight yarn. You will have to excuse the ends, I've not worked them in yet, but I'll just pop the other cardigan on top of this one. I've worked exactly the same amount of rows, but you can see there that the sleeve has come out longer. The actual length is also longer, and it's a wider cardigan as well, by probably 2 inches on the sides there. So it's quite easy, if this particular cardigan that we make on our channel is a little bit too small for the baby that you're making it for, it's so easy just to move up to a thicker yarn, worsted weight Aran yarn, and instead of using the 5mm hook, I went up to a 6. So that's just to show what the difference in sizing, just changing the yarn can make. So on the next video, I will show you how to divide the yoke for the front and back, the fronts and back, and the sleeves for this pretty bobbled cardigan. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you've got a better understanding of the way the yoke is worked, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.